So this is oil pastel practice number 2 to prepare you to do your next assignment. You should have already completed oil pastel practice worksheets. My example is not complete, but there's a video in Google Classroom that shows you the whole process and a complete example. So we're going to practice using black paper, and we're going to practice the style that we're going to be drawing in for our next assignment, which is meant to look like a stained glass window. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a very simple picture. You can copy the one that I'm doing, or you can make up your own. You're going to use a pencil. You want to press down kind of hard so that your lines show well on the black paper. I'm just going to draw a super simple flower. You can take your time much more than I'm doing. Just trying to make a quick example. So I'm drawing something with nice, simple shapes. So I've got a flower, and I'm going to add a stem. Everything needs to be a shape. So I wouldn't just draw a single line as my stem. It needs to have 2 edges to make a shape. And then I'm going to add some leaves. All right, so a super simple picture of a flower. Now I'm going to start coloring it. Oh, wait, I forgot. Super important. I need to shatter or break up the background space into smaller shapes. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to add some lines to create shapes in the background. Instead of just one big open background, I want to break it up into several smaller shapes instead. This is to help create the stained glass effect that we're going for. And you don't want your shapes to be too tiny because you do have to color in each one. So there, now I've got my shapes. So I've broken the background up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shapes. They're fairly big shapes. Now, I'm going to decide how I want to color this. The requirements of the project is that each shape have 2 colors blended together within the shape, 2 or more. And they should be analogous colors, which means that they are next to each other on the color wheel. So an example of analogous colors would be red and orange, or yellow and yellow-green, or blue-green and blue. It can be 2 or 3 colors, but every single shape has to have at least 2 analogous colors blended together. So I'm going to start by coloring in, let's say, one of the leaves, and I'll just go ahead and use my 2 different greens within my leaf. So I'll start with one green, and you want to use the coloring in little tiny circles technique that you learned from practice number 1. So I'm filling in part of the leaf with the darker green, and I'm kind of fading it out. So there's more pastel in this area, and then there's gradually less as you go to the other end of the leaf. And now I'm going to blend it in with the lighter green color. So I'm coloring in reverse direction. Lots of light green over at that edge, little circular marks, and now I'm overlapping the other green color to blend them together. So you can see, hopefully, that looks pretty cool against the black paper. And you can see how the dark green fades into the light green. Now I'll do a couple more shapes just so you can watch how I do it. When you choose your background colors, you do not want to pick colors that are going to blend together with your object. So since my leaf is green, I wouldn't do my background green because I don't want them to blend together. And I already know my petals, I think I'm going to do yellow. So I wouldn't do yellow there either. So I'm gonna choose, I think, purple and blue for my background shape there. When you're coloring in all of your shapes, you need to leave your pencil lines showing. And I'm still using that coloring in little circles technique. So I'm going to start with lots of purple over here, and then I'm going to use less pressure and kind of fade it out as I get to the other side. Lots of purple over here, little circles, and then I'm going to fade it out as I get over to that side. And now I'm going to color from the other side of the shape with the blue. Lots of blue, and then I'm lighter pressure, little circles, and I'm blending it in with the purple. There we go. Pretty okay with how that looks. So you can see I've got some like little oil pastel crumbs. I'm gonna like shake them off onto my paper towel here, maybe brush them off a little bit. You shouldn't have to do any blending with your fingers on this assignment. You should be able to blend just by layering the two colors over each other. So that looks good to me. Now I'm going to show you, well, okay, back up a second. So you would color in your whole practice drawing that same way, coloring in each shape with two blended colors, 2 or more blended colors within. Then once you're all done coloring it in, you're going to come back and you're going to do thick black outlines right over your pencil marks. We want this to look like a stained glass window, and the black outlines are representing what's called the leading, which is what goes in between each of the pieces of colored glass in a stained glass window. I'm not going to color in the whole thing, but I will put up a picture of the finished example so you can see. So each shape gets colored in, leave the pencil lines exposed, and then your last step is the thick black outlines. Have fun.